Good morning. So I am on a morning walk with Graham this morning after having just dropped off Leo at school. And the random phrase generated today is a home bird, which means someone who enjoys the comfort of their home over trying new places or experiencing new things. I would say that my wife naturally is more of a home bird, which I thought was always a home body. I guess it's a home bird is the technically correct term. I don't know. I feel like this phrase could really work for anyone because everyone has, I would say, their own specific home. And hey, good morning. And it's less about a physical place like a home and more about, you could say, comfort zone. And so if I were to take this into one direction, it would be that everyone in one way, shape, or form is a home bird, where they have a place of solace and comfort. And good morning. Good morning. But that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a physical location, like a physical house or home. I think that in this ever-changing and evolving world, and this ever-changing relationships and roles and responsibilities, that it would be good to become a home bird of like a modus operandi or a set of foundational principles that in any given context one can operate from. So a good example would be a personal protocol of mine would be to increase personal velocity, one must more effectively experiment faster. Okay, now if I could become a home bird, or if I can build my nest with maybe a couple of those twigs of the nest being this operating principle, or what I call a personal protocol, to increase one's velocity, one must more effectively experiment faster. You could look at velocity as both altitude and acceleration, right? So if we're going to work in a two-dimensional plane right here, so like a graph, right? You've got this direction. It's kind of hard pushing Graham at the same time. You've got this direction, you've got longitude, and you've also got altitude. And as to increase velocity, which is speed and altitude, which will be determined by like a desired endpoint, to increase velocity or to get to your desired location faster and quicker, you have to more effectively experiment faster. So let's take the context of maybe a relationship. What is it you want out of a relationship? So maybe you could say, something that I feel is true, across all people, is that we are all here on earth to consciously develop an intimate and ever-expanding relationship with God. Okay? To consciously develop an intimate and ever-expanding relationship with God. And if I want to increase my personal velocity or get to that desired result quicker, I have to more effectively experiment faster. Now, and if I could get comfortable with this notion, this formula of I want to be as consciously close to God as possible so that we are at one at all times, forever, And that is the primary aim. And to increase my velocity, or to get there as quickly as possible, and to remain there forever, indefinitely, it would be that I have to more effectively experiment faster. And so could I do things while I'm at home, sitting in my bed, doing nothing, that could help me in consciously developing an intimate and ever-expanding relationship with God? I could, but I'm gonna have to figure out what kind of experiment that I need to do in that moment in order to do so. You know, my mind immediately defaults to, I could do breathing techniques and breath retention, which creates space, and then it creates this physiological need to breathe. And in creating what Wim Hof, I think it's Wim Hof, or the book Breathe, they talk about this wedge that creates, where you intentionally place yourself in this moment of desperation. Oh my gosh, I've been holding my breath for 3 minutes. I need to breathe right now. And seeing that you need to breathe and having this physiological response and going, God, I want to be in this moment for just a little bit longer. And sit there consciously going, I want to develop an intimate relationship with you, where this physiological need of mine is taking away all of my attention because I just want to breathe right now. But instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold out for 5 more seconds. In doing so, I'm going to intentionally do it to find you. To find you. And after that 5 seconds, I go, ugh, and I let it all out, and I feel tingly all over my body. And I know that it's having a positive physiological response to having retained or having done that breath retention. But what it's done really is it's helped me get closer to consciously developing an intimate and ever-expanding relationship with God. I'm relying upon His strength to get me through that next 5 seconds. I'm sitting in a moment of silence and stillness. What is it? Psalms 46:10, it says, be still and know that I am God. In that 5 seconds, I could be asking, God, what are you trying to tell me that, what have I been avoiding that you could try to tell me right now, because the environment is perfect, it's silent, it's still. And find revelation or get inspiration or a prompting. And how does this again relate to being a home bird? By habituating that protocol of having a primary aim and accelerating my velocity towards that aim by more effectively experimenting faster, I can take that protocol on vacation. I can take that protocol while walking, while doing hard things, while praying, while reading, while showering, while listening to good music, while being around other people, while talking or learning about something. I could use that idea of have a primary aim, recognize that to increase my velocity, my acceleration, and my altitude towards hitting that primary aim, I need to more effectively experiment faster, and know that I could do that kind of experimenting right now. I could do it in a mental way. I could do it physically. If I want to get in shape, how can I more effectively experiment faster right now in order to help me get into shape? And come up with ideas. Oh, I could tighten my abs. While I could tighten my abs in exactly the frame that I want it to sit in, and just hold that naturally while I'm walking. I could do 30 push-ups until failure. Right now, I could do jump squats. There's all these kinds of things, but I'm going back to, if you can learn to not have a location, a physical location, be the place of comfort, but that your place of comfort is actually this ethereal, abstract dimension where you have built a nest of twigs that are your operating principles, your personal protocols that can be applied in any moment, context, time, dimension, leveraging whatever energy you have at that moment in hoping you to accelerate one's velocity towards a primary aim It doesn't matter where you live or what stage of life you're in, or if life's really good right now or really not. And instead look at it as, I can use this moment right now to helping me get closer to what I'm hoping to achieve and aiming for faster by experimenting. By experimenting. Good morning.
Morning.
And experimenting in such a way where it is more effective and I'm doing it faster and more repetitive and more iterative. And if you can become a home bird of a personal protocol or a set of personal protocols, then like I said, it doesn't matter where you live, who you are, in what stage of progress you're in, or what you're even aiming at. You can be comfortable falling back on timeless, ancient, esoteric, but transferable principles, and have that be your place of comfort, the place of which you operate, and a place that is not geographically constrained to a physical location or to a relationship, like a person. And instead, it's rooted in this thing that is outside of time. It's outside of constraints. It's something you can always tap into. And by tapping into it, you become acquainted and familiar with it, and then find that to be your comfort zone. Yes. And so, today's phrase, or random phrase generated today, is a home bird. A home bird. Thanks for your patience, Graham. Love you tons, buddy.